I'm always delighted to be with Saul News. This has been such a leader in the conservative movement and the Republican Party.
Welcome to the Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for March 28, 2025. The Daily Caller reports, through the roof. CNN data guru breaks down surge in Americans saying U.S. is on right track under Trump. CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton said Tuesday that the percentage of Americans who believe the nation is on the right track has surged under President Donald Trump's second administration. A survey from Marist, published March 3rd, found 45% of Americans say the U.S. is on the correct trajectory. An NBC News poll published March 16th found that 44% shared the same sentiment.
This, I think, is rather important because, again, if the polls have historically underestimated Donald Trump, what is a metric that might get at understanding at how popular he may actually be? So let's take a look at the percentage of the country who say that we're on the right track. It's actually a very high percentage when you compare it to some historical numbers. What are we talking about? According to Marist, 45% say that we're on the right track. That's the second highest that Marist has measured since 2009. How about NBC News? 44%. That's the highest since 2004. Wow. The bottom line is the percentage of Americans who say we're on the right track is through the roof. And if you were to compare it to when presidents have historically been reelected, of course, Trump is not constitutionally eligible to run for reelection, but I think it sort of puts it in perspective. 42% of the country says the country is on the right track when the incumbent party is reelected. And also keep in mind, back when Kamala Harris lost and the Democrats were turned out of power, only about 27 to 28% of the country said the country is on the right track. The bottom line is right now, a much higher percentage of the country says we're on the right track.
The NBC News poll also found Trump's approval rating matched its highest point across both of his terms at 47%. Fox News reports, DOGE slashes billions more in expenses for programs like Peruvian climate change and gender equity in Mexico. The Department of Government Efficiency announced it had terminated 113 contracts valued at $4.7 billion Tuesday, including a U.S. Department of Agriculture consulting contract for Peru's climate change activities. The Department of Government Efficiency also announced the Department of Labor had canceled $577 million in grants, totaling $237 million in savings. The funding that was canceled included $10 million for gender equity in the Mexican workplace, $12.2 million for worker empowerment in South America, and $6,250,000 for improving respect for workers' rights in agricultural supply chains in the countries of Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. In finally political reports, Democrats concede they have no alternative to Chuck Schumer for now. 2 weeks after the Senate Minority Leader joined with Republicans to prevent a government shutdown, Democrats are still fuming over how he handled the standoff, but many in the party are conceding that they're stuck with him for the time being. With no obvious alternative to Schumer emerging, nor any appetite among the vast majority of Senate Democrats for a messy leadership contest, lawmakers are indicating they are falling in behind the New Yorker and hoping for the best as they prepare for upcoming fights. House lawmakers who publicly and privately fumed at Schumer after he and a group of Senate Democrats voted to advance the GOP funding bill heard an earful from their constituents back home last week, who have demanded more forceful public resistance to Trump. That concludes your Saul's Newsstand News Rewind for March 28, 2025. For more political news faster, visit saulsnews.com.